Hey y'all, it's Joey Richardson here. I I decided I'm gonna start doing movie reviews. So here's the first movie I'm going to do. Baywatch with Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron. So I like how the movie starts out, Rot saving the guy that hit his head on rocks and was bleeding and the medics come to get the guy, to check him out. So and then I like when Zac Efron. One of my favorite scenes I like to watch on YouTube is when Zac Efron's character Matt Brody arrives to the scene. So yeah, Mitch is so The Rock plays Mitch Buchanan, who actually is saves the guy at the beginning of the movie when he hit his head on rocks. So yeah, so Matt Brody is played by Zac Efron. And his arrival is he gets on a motorcycle. He's got sunglasses on. He looks like he's got a tan going on, and he rides on his motorcycle, and he nods his head at a woman while he's sitting on his motorcycle, and then gets off and is checking out the beach. And then when he's trying to put his jacket on his bag, Alexandra Daddario's character, Summer Quinn, she's got on a surf suit and has a surfboard in her arm, and she's walking over towards Matt Brody, and he checks her out, and he pulls his sunglasses down, which I think is funny. Kind of makes me think of myself a little bit when I check someone out and I'm wearing sunglasses. No, don't take me seriously, but my brother literally says that is me. Haha. Gosh, I even admitted to one or two of my friends that can be me, but yeah, well, I'm not too bad anymore. But anyways, back to the movie. So yeah, he checks her out, and when she walks by, he's like, "Hey, I'm Matt Bro." He says, "Hey, I'm Matt Brody," and Summer says, "And not a single fuck was given." And he goes, "Ooh." So yeah, that's one funny part. Another funny scene is when Ronnie is Ronnie. Sorry, my mom didn't know that my video got cut off last time I was doing it. But anyways, Ronnie sees CJ, and Ronnie stutters. That is another funny thing I found funny, is that Ronnie is stuttering and can't even get a word out to CJ. He like barely, maybe one word, or does he even get out a word? I don't know. But Dave's trying to talk to CJ for him, but it's not. It's not his friend Dave has actually tried to speak for him, but he's like, yeah, she actually has to answer questions that Ronnie was supposed to answer. So she's like, yeah, I saw your name on the board, so you're trying out. So yeah, so Matt Brody, Summer Quinn, and Ronnie, all three have to try out, and supposedly Summer and Ronnie had tried out previous times. It was like Ronnie had already tried it twice. I'm not sure if Summer had tried out, how many times Summer had tried out and not made it. But of course, all three of them do get on the team just to cut short. And the big boy course scene is one of my favorites as well. Well, because Summer and Ronnie do the course with everyone else, while Matt Brody has to challenge Mitch. Does a challenge with Mitch on the big boy course, which Mitch successfully beats him at all three competitions. But the key to that was that Matt Brody did some obstacle course that required a lot of muscle, so it gassed him out. So, but Mitch was trying to teach him a lesson to conserve your energy. So yeah, then a woman needs help, and it's just funny to me how they they there's a lot of funny scenes, but critics are very harsh for this movie. Just to let you know, but the audience, on the other hand, thinks this movie is good, and I do believe it's better than what the critics think. So I'm gonna get into that, do more of this movie. So you got so all three made the team, and yeah, of course that was obvious. They're part of the movie and they're main characters, so of course they're all going to make the team anyhow they can. So yeah, so more in depth into the movie is they're not only working as lifeguards, but they're also working undercover and investigating. And they find out that Victoria Leeds is trying to buy property in Idaho Bay, and they actually go to a party that she invited them to. Victoria Leeds, that is, she invited them to a party at the Huntley, which is where Ronnie's friend Dave worked at, and so yeah, so at the Huntley, Matt Brody gets hammered while everyone else is doing their job, and of course Brody nearly loses his job because he said some things he didn't mean, and Brody was pushed into the water and vomited, and he got the crowd all excited after he reacted to his vomit. He's like, "What are you standing there for? Let's party," or something like that. But it is kind of funny. But after all, I do like Matt Brody, and I sometimes wish I was Matt Brody. But I gotta admit, Zac Efron's character was so dumb in this movie. And I heard he is kind of dumb in most of his movies. Well, he's been doing a lot of comedy. But anyways, to the point, they find out that Lee's is selling Flocka, and then they're bringing it to Huntley. And that actually turns out that she is not good, and she's even trying to kill people who refuse to sell their property. Even the councilman dies, but was supposed to be in a the boat. There was a boat on fire, and he was supposed to his body was he was supposed to explode. His body was supposed to explode, but his body actually got saved off the boat. And there were girls or women that were high on Flocka, and they got saved as well. But they obviously were too high to remember anything, which it doesn't ever show them again. They're not seen throughout the film, so therefore they're not really of any use because they were on drugs when the boat was on fire and they could have died, but at least they were saved. Anyways, so they have to save the bay because Leeds and her dogs want to expand the Huntley and take over the bay. So, long story short, there's moments where they're coming close to catching it, to having evidence of Lee's dog's involvements with like switching files out and stuff. But fortunately, the evidence on the cell phone is destroyed because one of the dogs took it and eventually broke it. While they should have been arrested, the captain has them released because the evidence wasn't there. And the captain actually apologizes, which the captain is actually crooked as well. And he eventually gets what he deserves too at the end of the movie, which I can't wait to get into. So yeah, so yeah, they all, they actually take action before the Coast Guard or police officers and all that are there. So here's what happens. Okay, so eventually, when they're going undercover and investigating, Mitch gets fired by the captain. The captain fires Mitch, and Brody's promoted to lieutenant. And while the team doesn't seem to like Brody as lieutenant, they still work with him. And he finds out Brody is pretty cool because he finds sand grifters that steal things on the beach. They steal things on the beach, like people's items. He uses that same cooler to get files of one of the guys who was killed and dumped into the water, which turns out to be Ronnie's friend Dave, who was not only had sharp bites but had stab wounds as well. That's when the team actually comes together and realizes they have to stop Victoria Leeds and her dogs from taking over the bay. So they do go to her private party on the yacht. They actually are let in, and at this point, Mitch is actually a phone salesman, and David Hasselhoff's character, which is the mentor, the the old lieutenant Mitch, he actually is like in the film telling the current Mitch, you know, that that he needs to get his job back or whatever he says. He says he needs to find himself and or whatever. So yeah. So while they eventually find they find a flock under the boat hidden through some. They had to like crack open a little doorway under the boat to get to the flocka. So yeah, the flock is found and is turned into the police for evidence, which I think it did get turned into the police. But yeah, it's so funny how the firework the Victoria's trying to get away and then the fireworks go off and it keeps her from escaping, and the Roman candle at the end. Oh my gosh, it causes her a big explosion. Her body just falls into pieces, and she's not able to get away because Ronnie was smart enough to get the fireworks working and the finale to get started. So yeah, but eventually they are proven right. Mitch was actually right the whole time, and the cop admitted that he was wrong and that Mitch was right. And the captain was like, "Mitch, you're fired." Matt Brody, everybody pretty much shows off their strengths at like their arm strengths, but Matt Brody doesn't show off his until the end of the movie, and he punches the captain and says, "You're under arrest." Even it's funny how the cop just let Brody punch the captain because the cop probably knew the captain was behind Mitch's firing. So yeah, it's and the ending's happy too. Like Brody finally kisses Summer, and Ronnie and CJ actually kiss each other before right at the end, but she CJ offers Ronnie breakfast, and he throws his arm in the air like, "Yes, I got some from CJ," and she's like, "I saw that," but he didn't actually say anything. He was just throwing his arm. She's like, "I saw that." He said, "Yeah, bacon sounds good," along with pancakes, of course. But yeah, you have to watch the film. If you haven't seen the film, I encourage you to do so. Don't worry about what the critics say. The audience rating is better, and that's why there will be a Baywatch 2. But if there's anything I missed, I'm really sorry. You just have to bear with me because I had to shorten this video already, and it's actually really, really good. I mean, some of y'all may not like the movie as much as I do, but it is very funny and entertaining. And yes, I do wish I could have muscles like Matt Brody, but supposedly Zac Efron did a little bit of steroids to get all that muscle. But anyways, I hope you like my review. If there's anything I missed, at least we know that Victoria Lee and her dogs didn't get away with everything and that they were stopped and everything. So it was good to know that the bay was saved and all that. So thanks for bearing with me, and hopefully I can improve upon my next review.